All right, so I welcome you back. Uh, I want to show you something which perhaps can help you to get the article of your choice. Um, Even though I planned that I would show you this link a bit later, but no regrets. I think this is the most appropriate time that I should share this website with you. I know many people use different kind of databases. Of course, I have the access to the different articles of the journals databases, but the most accessible database which I have come across is called Social Science Research Network, ssrn.com. I'm not a representative of this website. I don't get any commission, but I strongly recommend you that you register to this website. It's free. When you register, you can give the choice, which is your field of interest: organizational, leadership, finance, accounting, marketing, HR, even philosophy, even psychology, because a lot of psychological things are going in the business field as well. Give the tick, and you can give the command that whether you want to get the updates every week or every month. You would have the newsletter, okay? And that would show you what's going on in your field right now. Live research. You don't have to wait. And in many ways, for example, in my field, for example, let's say, Banish, for example, is a big researcher in my field. If I have a choice to read Banish's article from a published, reputed journal, or from the same title from here, from this website, I would prefer this. You know why? Because when I write article by myself, I have to decrease the length of the article, make some things out, because my publisher wants it. So I have to make some compromises. You get my point? My publisher say, Shab, your review of literature is too big, make it short. Whereas I know that if I take that part away, it can even, I have to make a big compromise with my concepts, what's in my frame. But then I have a second alternative. And the second alternative is that I can upload my full unedited article on this website. So the article, which was around 10 pages long in the published journal, can be 60 pages long here with the open free ideas. Okay, and the best thing is that this is accessible to everybody, no problem. You just have to type in your key term. If my key term is, let's say, governance, I can have thousands of articles about governance, and they all are downloadable. Okay? And when you see one primary article, when you read it, you can go to the reference page of this article, and you can also get some secondary. So that would make your overall bibliography or list of references longer. And then you know that, okay, this article is there, but what about the other articles? All right, see the reference list of this article and start exploring more. This can be a nice start. If you give me some keyword, sports. Can I say sports market or something? Sports market, for example. Sports sentiment and stock returns. If I have some time, I would definitely do this research, because sentiments play a big role in the stock market, and sentiments fluctuate a lot in the sports sector. You win a match, sentiments go up. And you know what? In Britain, in London Stock Exchange, there are many football clubs. They are listed on the stock exchange. They have shares. So one match they win, the stock price go up. Next match they lose, the stock price goes down. One big player is going to join their club, stock price goes up. There's a fight between the manager and the player, stock price goes down. Optics, sentiments. So if you go down, you can find even more. You also need to know to learn the art of using the keywords. Do you get my point? So try to find the word. For example, if I type market, I will see the articles which finish with the word marketing. But if I type the word marketing, then I may not see the word which finish at market. So these are some tricks, slowly. But this is a very good human capital, sports performance, so salary determination of professional athletes. Wow. I can try something else if you want. Some other keywords if you want to try. Change management. And one more thing you can do, for example, if you find only, for example, I say change management, one article, yeah? Of course, when I scroll down, I'll find many. But it's very important to recognize the gurus of your field. Not just the article, but you should also make a list of gurus of your field. For example, when I find this article, I like it. All right, this Mr. Lauder would be in this field. And when I click his name, I can find all the articles written by Lauder. So I'm sure some of them would be directly or indirectly would be about change management. Because if he writes an article on change management, one thing is very clear, that change management would be his area of interest. You can't write article on marketing one day and finance next day. So it will be his field, right? So it means I'm very likely to get more articles of change management from looking at this gentleman's web page. Well, we have to start somewhere, sometime, someday. Yeah. It's like saying that if you ask me where is the center of the earth, and I move around and I say, you know what, I think it's here, and you say you prove it that it is, I would say you counter question, prove that it's not. You get my point? Yeah. So we have to start somewhere, at some point, from somewhere. You have to do something. It's like once you open the Pandora's box, you'll see many articles. Or you can go to, I don't know why I dislike it. Google Scholar, for example, can be a second option. But I like SSRN more than Google Scholar because it has never disappointed me. I just have to make a list of keywords. In case of finance and accounting and governance, which is my field, I don't need to go to Google Scholar. I get everything from here. It's like a one-stop shop. You get everything from here. I'm not sure about the other fields, but SSRN is a fantastic, right? Or if you go to, for example, the database of some other journals, I think, Yannet is also very good here, the Yank. Here too, you can try. This can be good. Yeah. But this I know is a fantastic source of information, SSRN. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Can you try a triple bottom line?
You know what? I have a strong hunch that I have seen this article. But let's try. Let's try. Did you say a triple bottom line?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Or is it so that is it one word, bottom line?
It's not the separate word, bottom.
Triple bottom line, okay?
One key, yeah. There's just one key, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what? For example, let's say you find this article, right? And you are not interested in this article, but one of those in the list. Either you try by yourself to find it. If you can't find it, ask me. I can help you to get it. Yeah. But this is something which I'm very positive about, this website. So that you must try. Yeah. So that's the first set of slides we have. So these are some of the assumptions we have, that the students who are in this course, they would be doing the research at some stage. And you have some fundamental knowledge of business or economics. You have some very preliminary encounter with statistics at some stage. You don't have to be master of quantitative research, but something you can make interpretation of the data. You have some abstract research ideas, which I think we talked a lot about it. You think critically, but not in the extreme sense of cynicism. That's very important, that we have to think. We don't have to criticize somebody, but we have to think critically. To me, critical means you are seeing the bigger picture of the story. You're thinking objectively, even though the topic is subjective. So that is what I mean by that you are thinking in a very critical perspective. You try to explore things. Yesterday, I was having a meeting with my students, and I was telling that was a finance course, and I told one of my students that you must have this spectacles of skepticism. Spectacles of skepticism. It looks like a tongue twister, isn't it? You say 5 times spectacles of skepticism, spectacles of skepticism. You will definitely flout some stage. This skepticism is very important when you become a researcher. And remember, you can be a researcher without doing the research. When you're working as a corporate officer, you work as a corporate executive, you may not be doing the scientific research, but one thing you can perhaps learn or reconfirm in this course or something similar courses is that don't take things, or rather I should say that take the things with a pinch of salt, which basically means that don't take the things on the face value. Try to dig deep. Try to explore it. Try to see the larger picture, the bigger picture. Okay, that's what I mean by the temperament of skepticism, or what we can call in more scientific jargons as that you are a critical thinker. Your choice of topics, your methods, your ideas is not swayed by the emotions. Of course, emotions play a big role in our life, and scientific research is no exception, but don't let your personal emotions override the scientific rigor. Okay, so thinking objectively, doing the data analysis critically, drawing the conclusions, and then making interpretation based on that, do it objectively. That's the assumption I have. I may be wrong, but that's what my assumption normally is. You are able to synthesize the ideas and information. This is exactly the objective of your first task when you do the review of literature. When you read the article or any article or your article or somebody else's article, you will have lots of thoughts, ideas bombarding you. Can you absorb them? Because if you write them down as they are, nothing is going to happen. The ideas come to you. Once they touch you, they become your ideas. And it's not one idea. You have the bombardment of multiple ideas when you read the article. Now, how you absorb them and how you club them, how you organize these different, these celestial bodies which are touching you, your mind, then you make some kind of scientific expression. You organize your thoughts. All the thoughts which are hitting you, you are organizing them. And then based on this, you are telling a story. This is called review of literature. That is called synthesizing the ideas. There are two things. In science, we have analysis and synthesis. Maybe you know better than me. Analysis is that you have something, you break it down, so you go outwards. The synthesis is that many things are coming towards you. You absorb them, welcome them, but out of all those ideas, you make a summary, you make, the word summary comes here. And here you are organizing all these thoughts in a scientific manner. So review of literature is nothing more than the synthesis of different ideas and thoughts. And where these ideas and thoughts come from, do you have to invent all the ideas? No. Use the scientific research. Read some good article. Okay, there, that will give you some ideas. You don't have to reinvent the wheel and fire every time. Make use of the contribution of the predecessors, those people who have done research in the past. Make use of it. That's why I'm saying that don't let your thesis confined here. Let it go, because that will help somebody else to, like a relay race. You leave the baton somewhere and then somebody picks the baton from there and go further. That's the way we help each other. Okay, so that's called synthesis. Well, you're writing a research project, that's something simple. The research is defined as a systematic approach to obtain and confirm new and reliable ideas. The ideas are new, they are reliable, okay? It's like you are obtaining or confirming. Sometimes we develop something totally new idea, a new concept. Sometimes the concept is there, but you want to test it. Sometimes it has been tested already, but you are testing the same thing in a different setting. You get my point? Somebody might have tested that in the US, if you bring the outside directors to your company, then the objectivity of the financial reporting is more guaranteed because somebody is keeping a check on you. You get my point? Now, same idea, same method, you want to try in Germany. This will still be a contribution to the field of research. The idea is same, the thought is same, the methodology is same, but you know what? If you look at the German corporate sector and compare with the US corporate sector, they are diagonally opposite. They're like north and south. In the US, you have very small shareholders, but there are many. In Germany, it's opposite. You have very big shareholders, but they're very few. Isn't? So now what you do, you are providing a completely different setting to test the same theory, the same story, the same narrative, and the same method. Remember, what you will be contributing to the research is a very small, marginal contribution. Okay? Don't overestimate yourself. Don't take too much pressure of changing the world through your research. Even if you are able to make a small, minuscule contribution, which may not be used by anybody else, but if within your company, you are able to improve some products, the process, the system, the operation with your research, that's your contribution. That's what you have contributed. Okay, so every contribution is well respected in research. You don't have to develop, I mean, it's not true that the research, the idea have to be always new. Well, it's good, you have a new idea, but you can also test the same idea with the same company in different times. Something works great in recession when the market is down. Or let's say this way, something works great when the market is really up. But for the same company, that move would be boomerang if you experiment during the recession time. All right? And when you try the same thing for different companies, for different times, in different settings, it would be likely to give you a different result. So I don't take the argument that the research have to be every time a new idea. You can generate an idea and you can also confirm the idea as well. Okay. Of course, it's a very systematic and orderly method. It's like investigating. In many ways, I compare research with the legal system, the way the lawyer investigates a case, or like the cops investigate a crime. They all have certain fixed starting point, but eventually, you know, the leads can come differently and they can change their course of action. But when the lawyers or when the police investigators start probing a crime or any case, the starting point is always the same. So that's why, as a researcher, your starting point is also the same. That's why research looks sometimes boring, because it's very structured. But within the structure, there's a lot of room for creativity. Like, for example, I showed you that when you will be doing your research plan, or I should call it research skeleton, because plan is very comprehensive, skeleton, or when you do the review of literature, I gave you very fixed terms that always start with the research background or a problem, motivation, objectives, methodology, findings, discussion, and future suggestion. It seems very algorithmic, like a very structured, like very step-by-step procedure. But within these steps, there is a very open room available for you where you can be more creative. Okay, but we never start our research with the findings first. We never write objectives at the end. So that is sad but true. We have to follow some structure. And I told you the reason why we normally have this kind of very structured. First of all, it's easy. It makes sense. You go step by step. And secondly, you can compare different researchers. If the structure is same, if the structure is not same, then benchmarking, comparison becomes very complicated. So that's what I mean, that you are following some steps. And at each step, we are getting new knowledge, new ideas, new thoughts, even though the topic is same. But same topic doesn't mean that you will not get the new knowledge. The features of research, well, it's a discovery of new knowledge, not necessarily, I never write new topic, new knowledge. You can have a new topic, but when you learn in a new setting or a new methodology, for example, it could be possible that there is two students having the exactly same topic, but one is doing quantitatively, the other is doing qualitatively. They both are equally important. One is doing by case study method and the second is doing by some kind of multiple case or some survey method. Fantastic. It's an investigation. you have a problem which you want to solve. You don't have to have a solution, but at least you are diagnosing a problem. For me, a research doesn't necessarily give you a solution, especially in the academic research, we never find the solutions. For example, the scientists are still debating if a company should get the money from borrowing or share capital. Do you get my point? The company gets finance from mainly two sources. The one is that you have the equity, the share capital, and the second is the debt, the borrowing. We have been having this debate for almost 1 century. So the debate is ongoing. But when you do some case study or when your case company or the action research or some very, your own company, you might find some solution. But to me, a research is successful even if you are able to diagnose the problem. To me, that doctor is as good as the doctor who diagnosed a disease and may not be able to cure it, is as important as that doctor who is able to cure it. You get my point? So in the research, even if you are able to diagnose a phenomena, you are doing a great job. Don't take the pressure to make the world a better place to live in. Well, you can try if you want. But when you are able to diagnose a phenomena, I think you've done your job pretty well. It involves the observations, there is experimentation. You try to find the answers, but you never try to find only one answer. In the social sciences, in the business research, sometimes it's better to leave the research unresolved. Because when you leave a phenomena unresolved, you are keeping it very open-ended. But if you take the sides too much, that can make your research a little bit more subjective rather than objective. Okay? But as I said before, don't feel the pressure to solve any problem. You try to solve it, but I think once you are able to point out some issues, that's enough. The research should be carefully recorded and reported. That's why you write thesis. That's why you write a thesis, because it's a recording. When you write a thesis or research article, you are recording it and reporting it. Recording in the form of a monograph, reporting to your thesis supervisor. Okay? Even in this course, when you would be doing task A and task B, you are recording it in the slides, reporting it, presenting it. That's research, isn't it? So simple. Research is not an accidental discovery. It's not that you are walking and you have an apple tree and the apple falls on your head and you discover the law of gravity, right? So it's not, the accidents don't happen every day. You have to create a phenomena. You have to create an atmosphere. You have to create an environment. You know what? Your one chapter of thesis called research methodology is exactly what you create an environment. Because in the research methodology, what do you write? May I ask you? So I have to say again. The research methodology chapter is a kind of environment, the ecosystem where you are doing research. You can have the primary data, for example, from the surveys or with the interviews, okay? Or you can have the secondary data. For example, you can download from the company's annual reports or from the stock markets, the way I do, okay? Are you going to use which time period you pick up for the data? Here you have a lot of role to play. Which model you use? Are you going to use some qualitative tools or quantitative tools? So all these things, this is like an environment which you create for the research. So that's why I'm saying that it's not accidental discovery. If the research was an accidental discovery, then you will never have a chapter called research methodology in your thesis. The research methodology shows that you are creating a system, an invisible system, where you will undertake your research. It means it's not spontaneous. It's not something came accidentally. You made an informed decision to choose qualitative data, not quantitative. Do the interviews, not the survey, or vice versa. You did it. The question is that you did it by your choice. Of course you did, but in the research, you have to give a justification as well. The beauty of research is that within this chapter or within each chapter, you have a lot of freedom, but you have to justify the freedom. If you don't justify the freedom, it becomes chaos, it becomes indiscipline. So whenever you choose, for example, if I'm researching why in Finland companies borrow more during the bad time in the recession, and I take only one case company, and this person is giving me some ideas and I'm writing it, making interpretation, I would be very easily challenged. Hey, it's a one company. How can you make having a debt, borrowing or not borrowing is such a big decision? How can you make such a decision based on one company? And maybe he belongs to our R&D company. What about the old-fashioned companies like furniture or retail or hotel? Then I have to take a cross-section of many companies. So I have no choice but either follow the survey method or use the secondary data. So whatever technique method I choose, I have to give a justification why I chose this. Not only this, I have to give a justification of what I, but I also have to give a justification. So that's why in the research, there is a freedom with accountability. Accountability is that you give a justification. Research is not just confined to the data collection. Of course, the data is a very important part, but just getting the data is not the research. Researching out what research is not, that we are not just doing getting the reports or the review of literature. That's a component of it. So for example, just data collection and just writing the review of literature is not enough. They're not end in their own. They are the mean to solve a business problem or a phenomena. And the business problem or the phenomena is reflected in your research objectives and questions. Okay, and that's the main thing. The rest, everything is secondary. Need for research to produce new knowledge. Always, I put a question mark. No, not always. Of course, new knowledge is good, but sometimes confirming the existing knowledge is also, let's say you are carrying on a business process for the last 20 years, and when you invented it, it was a great success. Is it still a success? Let's check it. How check it? Do the research. To form the foundations of policies, strategies, reviews of business, you are a CFO of a company and you are giving a presentation to the board of directors, and you find out that even though, let me draw it actually. I'll speak when I, of course we make the business decision. That's why I drew this chart here. Uh, of course, it's a part of social research. I want you people to spend some time and read this slide, and perhaps you can get some key points of what social research is, because don't forget that businesses are part of society. Okay, we never run businesses on planet Mars. They all are on planet Earth. Here we live in society. Our customers, if you look at the business stakeholders, who are they? They are the companies. They are the customers. They're employees. They are suppliers. They are the civil society. They are the communities, the media, the state. So all are stakeholders of your companies. So your business research is essentially a societal research. That is why these days in many business field, especially in finance, there's a more and more role of sociology and psychology theories is coming up. Not only in finance, but many business managers are now getting some special courses on understanding the social sciences and also the psychology, because we must feel the pulse of the customers, the markets, the staff. What if your main staff leaves the company immediately? Did they give you any signals before leaving? Or were they giving signals and they were getting unnoticed?